Well, today we're going to do a little video on the Pioneer Museum here in Woodward, Oklahoma. I'm here with my friend Tristan. We're going to go through the museum here and see what it has. It's the first time for me being here, so let's go check it out. So, the first one here is this kind of history of the Southern Plains, it looks like. Just some artifacts that were found around here. Old Sharps Cavalry Carbine. This is the history of our country right here. It's pretty kind of neat to see some of this stuff that is the history of our country and how we were founded, and it's just great. I love history, and it's just one of the things that kind of compels me, especially the Old West. I just enjoy the heck out of it. So let's go see what else we have. This is the Woodward area prior to 1870. So let's see. Woodward is somewhere right in here, I would assume. Oh, right here is Woodward. That's where we're located.
Yes, sir.
Hunters and gatherers. Yeah, a lot of the Plains Indians are from around here. Pretty neat history. I haven't found any old arrowheads yet, but I keep my eye out for them. Kind of looks like the Kiowa Indians were the most dominant, according to the map there, the Kiowa and the Comanche. And the Cheyenne Indians. Pretty neat. Handcrafted arrows, bows. If I'm not mistaken, I think General Custer was kind of in the Oklahoma, Kansas area, if I remember my history right. There's American bison. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. The buffalo headdress. Cheyenne medicine man. Pretty neat. The Shahelia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
I wouldn't pronounce it any better. I would butcher it, don't worry.
But this is kind of interesting because I don't know a lot about the Indian nation, because I studied more of the cavalry and stuff like that. So this is very interesting on the Indian traditions.
Tomahawk, a peace pipe. That old doll there, look at that.
1930.
Wow.
Indian headdress, 1899.
Yeah, look at this beautiful headdress here, folks.
Pretty wild, pretty neat. Battle of Washita. See, I was right. George Armstrong Custer was involved in the and we kind of seem to overlook the Native American
history
of it. We always focus on the U.S. cavalry, and we kind of forget about the Native American side of it, and they're kind of lost out, and they're probably the biggest part of our American history.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And we kind of seem to overlook it all the time, and they get kind of put on the back burner sometimes.
And they shouldn't. They have a real rich history. I mean,
They're the true American citizens.
true Americans. Absolutely. I agree.
I mean, they were here before we were here.
Sure. Of course.
So we kind of infringed on the Native Americans, and so yeah, they get pushed back, and they're the true American citizen. So it's pretty neat on the technology that they had to do stuff that I would have never considered at the time. They were so advanced for the times.
And how beautiful their clothes were and all their tools.
Oh, the beadworking that they did was
absolutely.
tremendous.
Yeah, look at that beadwork here. Look at that.
And well, the original Native Americans, the beadwork were all hand done from small stones. You know how much time and detail that would.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But I have a lot of respect for the Native American.
As do I.
Okay, the Northwest Passage.
Journey through northwestern Oklahoma.
Yeah. This is getting into I'm going to say the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s time area, when civilization started settling to the west, moving from east to west. (1931) Harvey buggy.
Get a better shot of it here. Oh yeah. Great shot.
Opening the Cherokee Outlet, September 1893. U.S. Land Office. Witness tree. Wow, pretty wild.
That is.
Look at craftsmanship on that saddle. Pretty wild. And everybody knows about the Oklahoma Dust Bowl.
Oh yeah.
This is in the 1920s and 30s. Well, old pressure cooker. There's a good video out on the Dust Bowl. If you probably have to Google it, but it's very interesting. You know, I didn't realize how much people were resilient and how much the migration, people moving from Oklahoma and Kansas and going west to get away from the Dust Bowl. It's pretty interesting on the migration of the people. And I really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure just Google it and you could find a video on the Dust Bowl. They had it at the theater here in town. The museum actually sponsored it. And it was really, really very interesting. The Woodward Tornado, 1947.
Look at the damage on that. Wow. Sad stuff.
Yeah, we can't control Mother Nature. We're at the mercy of the Lord. aftermath of the Woodward tornado. 3,000 homeless. 5 million in storm damage. That was back in
Yeah, 1947. Imagine what that would be
So
today.
Today that would probably be 100 million.
No doubt.
A list of all the tornado victims. I don't know if they lost their lives or if they were just victims of the tornado. I don't know much about the...
Yeah, because Keith is actually not originally from here.
No, I'm an import. I'm originally from Iowa, and then I lived in Missouri for a while. Lived out in California for a while, and then ended up here in Woodward. And best move I ever made was moving to Woodward, Oklahoma. There's an old wood-burning cook stove. I grew up, my mom cooked on one. Not exactly like that, but similar to it. Mom's was a little bigger. It had a bigger warming oven. And that's all she would ever wanted to cook on. So yeah, this brings back a lot of memories. And if you ever get the opportunity to cook on a wood burner like that, it's awesome. I mean, it's so much better cooking, but it's a thing of the past. You know, we're modern now. So, what way we want to go? That way? Okay, this is the Temple Houston's office. He must have been a prominent figure here in Woodward. Temple Houston. Don't say what it was. It looks like he was pretty prominent member of the society. Like maybe he was a lawyer. That's what I'm kind of guessing. Lots of journals. Maybe he was a politician because I see Congress, books of Congress. So yeah, I'm not positive. But he looks like he was pretty well off for the times. That must be a picture of him up there. Temple Houston Day. Yeah, practice the law. He was a lawyer. He had a proclamation from the state of Oklahoma. Pretty interesting. Not sure what this is. Whole revolver there. Mexican sombrero. This has something to do with Temple Houston again, the revolver.
It says it's his Colt 45.
Yeah, that's a beautiful gun. That's worth a little bit of money. But yeah, this is very interesting. Like I say, this helps me learn the history a little bit more of Woodward because, like I say, I'm new here, and it's interesting to find the history of Woodward and the people that were influential in developing the community. So, yeah, I like this. That's pretty neat.
Old quilt.
Mrs. Dolly Littlejohn Miller Evans. So she must have been Native American and married a white person. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. So we'll find another spot and
Pick it up.
we'll pick it up. Another section of the museum now. This is Woodward's Miss Dolly. She must have been one of the influential people in Woodward. The women. $10 women and $2 town. I guess you could take that a lot of different ways. But this is 1930s period bedroom.
So this is what might have it would have looked like in the 1930s to have a bedroom. Let me get over this glass real quick. The bed, nice picture, vanity.
Yeah, they were pretty simple. It was a pretty simple life.
Looks like my bedroom.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got here?
Oh, that's cool.
This is the post office. The postal person would be behind the window. And your post office boxes and drop boxes. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Here's the old bank. Make a withdrawal. I bet if only these walls could talk of this old bank. There's a lot of history here. It's pretty neat. This is the old Stock Exchange Bank from 1903. Wow, pretty wild. Different banks from the area. March 7th, looks like 06. Kind of neat that some of this stuff got preserved. $1920 something. You know, this one was wrote for $332 in 1924. You imagine how much that would be today?
Oh gosh.
You know, that was thousands of dollars if it was today.
Yeah.
And pretty crazy. Ink. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Wow, look at the old safe.
Wow.
That's from the Stock Exchange Bank. Must have had to stick a crank in there to open it up.
Oh yeah.
After your combination. Let's see what this one is. This is a doctor's office. A lot of people didn't give a lot of trust in doctors. I mean, they were used at the very last resort.
All the old tools and medicines and stuff.
Yeah, you really look at some of the equipment, not a lot has changed in the last 100 years. You know, the tables are more portable now, but it's the same design. So it's really, other than now, you know, the doctor's office used to be one room, you'd go in and the doctor was there. Now you're separated, but this is the photographer.
Look at the size of that camera. We're recording on a smartphone, and
Yeah,
they would take pictures on this big old thing.
You wouldn't carry that around with you.
We wouldn't be vlogging with that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Have a big
Yeah,
wheel it around.
You get one shot, it takes 45 minutes to take the picture. Yes. But that's the way technology works, I guess. And it's pretty interesting on how things have changed. This must be the newspaper.
Wow.
See, the cameras did eventually start getting a little smaller. But yeah, one sheet at a time.
There they are using it up there in that picture.
It took a whole day to run enough papers for a 1 day run.
Isn't that something we used to get our news from the paper? Now we get it online and Facebook and all the
Yep,
all
everything
the stuff.
it's instant now. I mean, they can type it up and it's out there.
Right.
And it's kind of unfortunate that print is a thing of the past because
I actually enjoy it.
print can still preserve a lot of the history. You know, 100 years from now, of course, it'll be recorded somewhere. But it's just neat when you go back to
A physical
someplace
copy.
and you find an old newspaper from the 1960s. I just love going through them, and it's just pretty neat. This must be the seamstress. My mom had an old Singer, but it wasn't electric. It was the old treadle type.
Oh, here we go.
Here's the saloon, probably the most important building in the whole city at the time. Uncle Jack Garvey's. The back bar comes from Gage. Little Brown Jug comes from a pit dug behind Firestone Station on Main Street. Wow. I don't know if you guys ever follow the history of, what's his name, got killed in Deadwood, South Dakota. He always said he never wanted to sit with his back to the door. And the one time he did, he got shot in the back. So I'm a believer of that. When I go out somewhere, it kind of must be just superstition because I avoid sitting with my back to the door because I want to see who's coming into this establishment. And it's more for my peace of mind than anything. The chances of something happening are little to none, but it just gives me a little peace of mind. Not that I could probably do much about it anyway. But women of the armed forces. Men and women. First lieutenant. Oh, he must have got killed in the war. He died in 1944, and that was the heart of World War II. And we need to give all of our veterans the utmost respect.
Absolutely.
They keep our freedom free, and they sacrifice a lot for us as citizens.
Yes. Thank you to all the veterans.
We need to fight to keep our freedoms. And I don't know, I don't want to get real political, but we just need to be real vigilant on the way our country is running right now. And we need to just stand up for our rights and not back down, because the minute we back down, we're going to get run over. So that'll be my spew on the political part of this, but just always remember our veterans, because a lot of soldiers died for us, and it's easy to forget about them. Wow, that's a big old flag.
Fort Supply Room, it says. Oh wow, that is a big flag.
Yeah, that's a big old flag. I haven't been to Fort Supply yet, but I want to get there. Indian Territory map. January 1881. Brigadier General Sully, I've heard of him, and Sheridan, everybody's heard of Sheridan.
Oh, that's neat.
That's the old fire department. That came a long ways from when I was a firefighter. Sibley Stove. I was born in Sibley, Iowa. That's quite the building. Quite the fire department. Big old bell. Springfield, model 1870. Grounds of Fort Supply. 1894 was taken out of commission. This was the primary rifle of the Army during the period of 1873 to 1900. All items used are found at Fort Supply. Wow. I'd love to find something like that out doing some, yeah. General Custer used at Fort Supply, the camp. Is there still a fort there?
I'm not too sure. Probably in the town. I haven't been in the town. I've just been to the lake. I haven't really checked out the town.
But evidently there used to be a military post there.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why it got called Fort Supply. It was probably a supply fort. That would be my guess anyway. Single action Colt. Military uniform. I'm sure that's World War One. .45 60, 1876. They were big calibers back then. 45 90. Winchester. 25 20. That was your hunting rifle. 38 55. Another hunting. The big calibers were, well, they hunted buffalo, and big caliber took a lot to bring a buffalo. .32 caliber. Wow. All Winchesters. They're pretty neat. Okay, I'm gonna go to jail. They were pretty simple back then.
Cage and a lock.
8x8 cell, and you're locked up in a cot.
Not much room in here.
But that's all they needed. They were in jail for a reason. I think we kind of need to get back to some of this with our convicted felons. They don't need to live the life of luxury. Alfonso Jennings. I don't know who he was in history, but 12-gauge pump shotgun. Oh, that 12 gauge there. My grandpa had one. He gave it to my dad. My dad gave it to me when he passed away, and I give it to my nephew. It's an 1897 Winchester 12-gauge pump, and I wanted to hand it down to somebody that would stay in the Gruno name because it's been transitioned down. So I gave it to my nephew, since I don't have any kids of my own. So it'll stay in the Gruno line of descendants. And I told him, when you pass it down to your kids, he's got 2 boys, so it'll still stay in another generation. And hopefully 100 years from now, it'll still be in the Gruno. So that's a little bit of my history with the guns. I've been around guns my whole life and never been afraid of guns. My guns have never killed anybody. I did a lot of hunting in my younger days, and I believe in our gun rights, and we have the right to defend ourselves and our country. So, saloon owner's worst nightmare. What was that? Oh, that lady. Two prostitutes on the petition. She went into their saloon on Monday morning and asked for their best drink and was given a cup of cold water. So she must have been against the saloons in the area. And we still have some of that today. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that like to stick their nose in something that they're really not involved in. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I'm not going to deprive people of their personal rights to do what they want, you know, within reason. I mean, of course, if you're going to drink, do it responsible. And I'm not really into the drug laws. We don't need to have the stinky stuff on the streets, but that's my personal opinion. Looks like we're getting into a little more modern times here. A ventriloquist. That's Mitzi. Frank and his ventriloquist dummies. Menard, Cherokee, Joe, and Mitzi. I'm gonna have to Google him. I was actually expecting a little later than that. That's 1949. To me, that looked like something out of the 60s. Ag building here and see the last part of the museum, and we'll pick it up from there.
Beautiful day out.
It's a gorgeous day out. Supposed to be up in the low 70s again today. Hopefully I can get some gardening done. I didn't even know this part of it existed out here.
To be honest, I didn't either. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Going that one or this one?
Looks like that one's locked, so I guess we're going in the agriculture exhibit. So
Old gas pump. When I was a kid, I worked for a farmer, and he had a gas pump like that we used. There's a scale model of the museum
that's cool.
front. Hi there. Okay, I guess we'll start right here.
Okay. I'll get out of your way.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm just walking.
The buffalo economy, a lot of things, especially the Native Americans, well, even later on, the buffalo was a big part of the development of the West. I mean, the Native Americans, they used everything on the buffalo, where the white man, when they started harvesting buffalo, all they wanted was the skin. They kept just enough meat that they used for their personal, and the rest of it, unfortunately, just laid there to rot away. So it's kind of sad, but that's the way it was back then. Where the Native Americans, they used everything from the hide to the meat to the hooves, everything, horns. So yeah, it's kind of sad. And of course, everybody knows the longhorn steer were the big part of the West. I mean, the cattle drives came pretty much right up through here on the way up to Kansas, to Dodge City, and That's where they caught the trains. So yeah, this was cattle drive country up through here in the wilderness. And the open range, there's a lot of it out here. I wish I had the opportunity to go explore more of it, but and the settlers, a lot of them settled here in Oklahoma on their way west, and they made it as far as Oklahoma, and that's where they stopped. And it trickled that way from west of the Mississippi all the way to California. People would just decide, okay, this is where I want to go. And this is old plows. And this all goes back to the Dust Bowl era. Not so much these, but the farmers that settled here didn't know that if you left the land unprotected, wind would erode everything. So it was kind of a lesson learned the hard way. But they figured it out. But it was pretty devastating for a lot of years. Ooh, that ain't good. Tooth extractor for animals. A calf weaner. Inserted into the nostrils of a calf. Never seen that before. Yeah, the tools came a long ways. As the shears, they used to shear sheep with, now they use electric, of course. But my aunt and uncle used to have one of these. I used to play on it all the time when we'd go up there. Knife sharpener, axe sharpener. Yeah, it took a lot of work to run a homestead. Back then, they didn't have tractors and everything. They pulled the plow with an ox or a horse or a mule, and everything else was hand tools. So they earned every cent that they got out of the farm. And of course, a lot of families, there wasn't really public cemeteries, so you buried your loved ones on your farm, and it got to be a little more organized where they would have public cemeteries later on in life. But yeah, you've seen a lot of that. The original Little Red Wagon, evidently. And of course, like I say, I don't know the agriculture out here in Woodward very well, but I know wheat is very prominent around here. Where up in Iowa, it was corn and soybeans, oats. So I'm sure a lot of the farmers around here could fill me in on a lot more, but I still think wheat is probably the biggest grain around here. Old spark plugs. One row planter. Yeah, and this was the typical house front. Most of them had a little bit bigger porch, but that's an old milk separator. It separated the cream from the milk. That's an old gas stove. Pretty good shape for another separator. This is a livery stable, I assume, blacksmith. These guys put in a day's work too when they were making horseshoes. It was hot, hard work. But they were the tire shop of the late 1800s. Mammoth tusk. Let's say where that was found. Wow, them were teeth. That's the tusk. That's pretty neat. That's the original history of the area. That's a long time ago. So, I'm not sure how this ties up their wheat in a bundle. My mom, a shocker, I think they're called. But yeah, making wheat bristle brew. Ingenuity. But with that, I guess that's about it. Oh, we got something here yet that we missed. Well, this is more of the printing press. A little smaller version of the first one we seen, but basically the same thing. Alrighty, with that, we'll call it a day. Thank you for watching. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you for watching my video on the Woodward Pioneer Museum. If this is something you enjoyed, please leave your comments. Any questions you would have. The ladies at the Pioneer Museum were very helpful. They do have their own YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, I'll put the description, a link for the description in the below. Please like, share, comment to my video. Please subscribe. Hit that alarm bell notification to all notifications. I plan on doing a lot more videos here in the next few weeks. I'm finally figuring out the editing software, so yeah, please subscribe. Check out the Pioneer Museum. It's highly recommended if you get a chance to come in and see it. It's a free will donation. It's very enjoyable. They got a nice little souvenir shop. Pretty much tells you the history of Western Oklahoma and particularly Woodward and the surrounding community. And there's just a lot of history in there. So yeah, God bless you. Please subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.